Compared to humans, dogs live pretty simple lives. In between meals, they run around outside, sleep, and get their bellies rubbed. Yet somehow, humans find ways to connect with canines at a spiritual level. It's an important bond. When dogs get older, that's when they need humans the most. Their senior years should be quiet and peaceful, but not every dog is so lucky. For the most part, life for the Black Labrador, once called Ma Kettle, below, started out pretty well. She grew old and fat thanks to her loving owner. But then, in 2012, her owner died. Sadly, not a single relative or loved one wanted Ma Kettle. In fact, only one person offered the lonely dog a home. Kelsey Lloyd, director of the Chautauqua County Animal Shelter in Sigan, Kansas, below. There she waited until a Satan family adopted her. They called her Pepper, the first of two eventual name changes, and brought her home to be part of their family. But from the start, Pepper didn't exactly fit in. Pepper scared the family's smaller dogs, so they had to give her to a friend in Independence, Kansas, after only a year and a half. Would this be the happy home where Pepper could live out her remaining days? Pepper struggled to adapt to a life without her first owner. In 2016, she ran away from Independence and wandered 30 miles back to Satan, back to the shelter. Neither family reclaimed her. But it was during her second stay at the shelter that the pooch finally caught a break. A visitor named Cindy Barclay Powell, below, touched by the lab's story, posted photos of her to various animal rescue social media pages. "Is there anyone out there who can give this girl a home?" she wrote. She may not have many years left. One of those posts made its way to Cheryl Hanna, below, a freelance writer for the National Pet Rescue Examiner. Cheryl saw the below picture of then-named Pepper and knew she had to share the dog's story. She wrote up an article that earned over 1 million views, including one well-connected reader. On July 30, 2014, author and dog lover Helen Rich read Hannah's article while vacationing in Hawaii. And while you might not know her name, you would definitely know her grandfather. Helen is the granddaughter of chewing gum magnate William Wrigley Jr. below. Set to inherit a large chunk of his fortune, the connected, but still self-made woman set her eyes on the celebrity dog she'd read about. Pepper, Helen knew, would fit right in at her 120-acre Florida estate. After all, she owned 7 rescue dogs and cared for dozens more through her rescue organization, On the Wings of an Angel. So Helen sent her personal assistants from Florida to Kansas on her private jet with a single mission: bring Pepper home. 2.5 hours later, they landed, and not long after, they reached the shelter. At the shelter, there was little fanfare or rigmarole. The assistants adopted Pepper and returned to the airport. On the way home, Pepper watched Kansas disappear from the window of the rising jet. Pepper was finally going to someone that wanted her, someone that needed her. Helen didn't just adopt the dog to have a celebrity in her midst. The true reason was much deeper than that. "I've had a tough life. Just because I have a family name, it doesn't mean diddly," she said. Indeed, like so many others, rich, poor, and in between, Helen, below, endured a rough childhood and feelings of inadequacy. Worse, Helen twice survived breast cancer. There's no doubting that she's a fighter. "I've had to survive and endure and walk a long, long way like Pepper," she said. She endured. I endured. Her story resonated with me. When Pepper and Helen finally met, the moment was magic. The two souls, bonded by hardship, shared a love connection right away. Helen couldn't help but share photos online. As the old dog grew into her a new home, Helen gave her a new name, her third in 2 years. Helen called her Lady, and undoubtedly, the sweet girl felt like one while living on this sunny Florida estate. But just how good was life for Lady? Well, besides all the Florida sun, farm grass, and the 7 playful siblings, Helen reported another detail of her dog's new life to Kelsey Lloyd, the shelter director. "Between all the maids and the butlers," Kelsey said, "she's being pet constantly. It looks like the old girl finally found a place to be loved and wanted."